Hey, Shalom, Israel. We the ISUPK start on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we bring out the truth according to the Bible about who the true Jews are, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's right. All right. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite groups, man. No Christian sects, no organizations. We stand alone, okay? Since 1969, Commander General Hanna has been doing a damn good job of informing his people about who they are, according to this Bible, not your Christian church or this wicked kingdom called America. All right, understand that. All right. At one point in time, you were black, you were African American, Afro American. You're everything but what the Lord said you are. All right. And thanks to the ISUPK under Commander General Hunter, we now know the truth according to the Bible and not dogmatic principles, not your Christian church, and not your so-called Christian leaders or whatever the heck you believe in. Let me start with saying, hey, shalom, Yahba Shemi Shabakatah to the brothers, Yashma Thaba Shemi Ashah to the sisters. All right, I'm Precinct Officer Quatazar, ISBK, Southern Ohio. We're going to get it started tonight. All right. We're going to talk about not escaping God's judgment, man. All right. Oftentimes, you'll go to that Christian church or your Muslim mosque and you'll sit here, bang your head on the pavement, or you'll go in that Christian church, pocket full of money. All right. Pocket full of money, thinking that you're going to lessen your debt to the Most High by paying your Christian pastor. And all he's doing, man, is putting that money in his pocket. He's paying his bills. He's putting his kids through college. Okay. You have to understand it's systematically done all throughout the world. You know, Psalms 83 says they are confederate against us. And all you so-called traitors, you know, who choose the oppressor over your own brothers and sisters, you know, you're confederate as well. You're willing to do anything to escape this judgment. And I got news for you. You're not. Okay. I'm going to start with this article about a brother by the name of Carnell Tate. Okay. And let me just get this out there too. It's your responsibility as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, not just to have brotherhood and sisterhood, which is synonymous, but to have a strong sense of brother and sisterhood, man. All right, that's the quality of state of being a brother. You know, nobody wants that friend that you can't depend on, that's never on time, that never has no money when you need it, but you always have money when they need it. All right. If you know what I'm talking about, 9 times out of 10, you might be that friend. Okay. Having a strong sense of brotherhood and sisterhood, it equivalates to you having a strong sense of worth, man. It's equivalent to, you know, your actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Your quality, all right, and the state that you're in of being a brother or a sister. And that's very important. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. All right. See, our lives depend on this. So Carnell Tate, a Chicago native, man, he lost his mother the other day in a drive-by shooting in his hometown due to gun violence. All right. This brother's mother was tragically killed. And for what? You know, who knows what she was out there doing? You know, this happens all over the world. But being as though he's a Chicago native here playing football as a freshman, a true freshman, what they called him, I thought that it would be, you know, good to bring this up. You know, he's from Chicago. He's here in Columbus, Ohio. So no matter where you go around the world, you're not going to escape the Lord's judgment. I don't give a damn what your Christian pastor told you. All right. You have a responsibility to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Those are our people. You know, any good parent knows that when you send your kids out the house to the bus stop, you tell the eldest to look after the youngest and the ones in between to do the same. Not one child should come home crying, or they all gonna be crying. And that's what a good father would teach his children. You know, that's what you call brotherhood and sisterhood, man. We have to look out for one another because the oppressor's not doing it. He's been lying to us since we were, you know, coming out the womb. You know, those dogmatic principles that Big Mama holds on to, and she has no idea why, because it was passed along. You know what I'm saying? You trimming the fat off of a pork roast, and you're doing it for generations. Not knowing why, because it's a dogmatic principle. Come to find out, she had to trim the fat off of it because it wouldn't fit in the little pan that she could afford. Now you have a whole generation of brothers and sisters just wasting food because Big Mama did it first. Come on, man. We got to make it make sense, all right? All right. It's our responsibility. No matter where you go, judgment will follow us. It's our duty to keep the oracles of God. Our lives depend on it. And if we don't, we will lose our lives, man. As soon as that grace and mercy runs out. No, don't believe your grace. Don't believe your Christian pastor that says, oh, well, I'm saved by grace in his arms. Like, man, get out of here with that mess. All right, it's just a time period that you have, that you're allotted to get yourself together. All right. I don't know if y'all pay attention to our Sabbath service classes. Captain Apatazar, shout out to him. He brought it out real heavy this past, Saturday, doing the services of the Lord. We went through Leviticus. It was talking about what the Lord requires from us. So if you want to know what the Lord requires from you, can go to the book of the law, man. You can go to Leviticus and just read. I think we were in the 24th chapter. It was talking about when we had to make sacrifices, not because of the Lord needing it, but it was supposed to be punishment, man. Punishment, it was supposed to be a burden. But because of our hearts, they grow wicked when punishment isn't, expedient. You have to realize that they were just sacrificing animals like the Lord needed to sacrifice. That was something to punish us. It was supposed to be a burden. He never needed it. But when he required it a sacrifice that was without a blemish, man. And so if you don't know what a blemish is, we're going to go to the definition real quick. All right. A blemish is a defect. So I'm just going to get the definition of a defect, because when it comes to your Christian path, he tells you to come as you are and leave it all at the altar. The Lord will forgive you for your shortcomings and, for all the sins that you're committing. And in all actuality, he requires you to be perfect. All right. But we're going to get that precept next. All right. So we're going to get the definition of defect in Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Okay. So Lakia. What is a defect? By definition, it's a noun, an imperfection or abnormality that impairs quality, function, or utility, a shortcoming. All right. A shortcoming. That's what he says you're allowed to live with. You're not allowed to live with that. The Lord doesn't want your shortcomings. He doesn't want your flaws. He doesn't want your quality to be impaired. He wants you to function correctly. And you functioning correctly means that you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's an absolute fact for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. As for all the other nations, the Lord's not dealing with them. He doesn't give a damn about them. Just like when you take your kids to the water park or you go into the store, you had that conversation in the car, because we're so poor. You tell us, hey, listen, don't ask me for anything. Don't touch nothing. And you better not run over my hill with that car. Why is that when it comes to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians? Why is that? It's because we're at the bottom of this wicked nation, man. The Lord don't give a damn about that job that's paying $20 an hour. You're still a slave. You're still in captivity. We are still in captivity. Make no mistake. This is why we're destroyed, because of that lack of knowledge. Every Christian proclaims to know the truth. And you ask them, and they talk about having a personal relationship with the Lord. The truth is that you have an identity, Black man, Hispanic man, and Native American Indian. Understand that, all right? So we're going to get Matthew 5:48, because you just can't make a claim. The Bible says, let every word of man be a lie, but the word of God be the truth. So we go to Matthew right quick. We're going to bust this thing down. And shalom to everybody that's checking in through water. All right, that means thank you in the Hebrew. That's not only do we have a national, we have a language, man. All right, language. I was talking to some heathen the other day, and he made a claim that, I was an African American. And I said, you very well may be an African American, and unbeknownst to him, there's a lot of white Southern Africans, that have a different dialect that come here. They're the true African. I ain't never been to Africa. Never. Not this, what I'm saying. That's for my, ancestors that came in here, came to America during the transatlantic slave trade. That's something totally different. But still, that wasn't our place of origin, man. We're Israelites, man. All right. So I said Matthew 5:48. We'll get this right quick. Like I said, if you got any questions, please type it in the chat. 5:48. All right. This is in the New Testament, might I add. So for all you naysayers and saying, oh, well, you can't be perfect, it's not possible, then you don't believe in Christ. damn sure to believe in the Most High who sent him. And I'm going to tell you about that Trinity, man. It's garbage. All right. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 48. Be ye therefore perfect. All right. Be ye therefore perfect. What does that mean, to be therefore perfect? What does it mean? You know, everyone has their own claims, but like I just said, the Bible says, let every man's word be a lie, but the word of God be true. What does it mean to be therefore perfect? Because according to everybody else, they say you can't be perfect. And if the Bible is saying that you can be, then either I'm reading wrong or we're not understanding something very important. What does that actually mean? All right. To be perfect, it means to be without spot, without blemish, man. All right. What are your spots? What are your blemishes? What are your defects here in America? It's quite simple. You look at any bus stop in any city, because that's where we go primarily, because that's where that demographic is that we want to reach, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Why is that? Because we're poor here in America. We're impoverished. We're impoverished. And that's by design. So to be therefore perfect, you're not supposed to have any spot or any blemish, any defects or shortcomings or flaws. Now, I ain't talking about you not having a big water head, you know what I'm saying, or some big old long nose or some, big soup cooling lips. I'm not talking about that type of defect. Dimples are actually birth defects. All right. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that weed you smoke. I'm talking about that money you steal, whether it's out your mother's purse or your nearest liquor store, because you want to do something else like serve the wrong God. You want to serve Molech. You want to sacrifice your kids to the fire. You got to rob somebody so that you can pay for those birthday presents and them candles on that cake. You got to rob somebody so they can have a Christmas. And that's a sin, man. You're not even supposed to be celebrating those stupid gods. All right. So those defects that you have are those things that your Christian pastor accepts and say, hey, man, you can live with them. Those defects are what's destroying us as a people. It is written that we are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Well, I'm here to tell you so that you don't get caught lacking. You can't do that. Those demons in your head that say, it's okay, I just, one slice of pizza. The Lord gonna kill me over one piece of pepper. Yes. Yeah, he'll kill you over that. According to a news article that came out a couple of months ago, there were people dying from eating clams, which is absolutely unlawful. That's absolutely unlawful. Would you bust open your shower head and then just go ahead and just start having that to filter, just eating it? That's what you do when you eat clams. When you eat that lobster, when you eat that shrimp, you wonder why the ocean's failing. The ecosystem is going down because of mass production and your hungry souls and your lust for this nasty seafood that we're not supposed to be eating. They're just out here just fishing, just destroying the ocean and its filtration system because you want that seafood boil. All those animals are scavengers. Majority of the things that we eat are called arthropods, which are cousins to roaches. All right, you're not cracking open old roach and sucking the juice out of it like you would do one of them crawdads. Make no mistake. All right, those are your imperfections. Everything that goes against the law, and when you transgress the law, it's called a sin. Understand that. All right, understand that. So we're at Matthew 5 and 48. It says, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." So understand that you can be perfect. All right. Any good father knows that, hey, listen, I don't want no man being better than me. Least it be my son. Every good father understands that. So we have these laws, statutes, commandments, these oracles that come from the Most High, sent to you by Yahweh King, Yahweh Shai, so that we don't have to be less than. He says we could be perfect just like our Father in heaven. And why aren't we? Because we want to do what? Go to Pound Town? And there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? We're not homosexuals. We're not like the IUIC. It is absolutely lovely and beautiful, the courtship a man and a woman has. But that too can be tainted when we don't understand the authority or the rulership that the Lord gives us when it comes to the household. You know, a lot of our problems stem from a woman wanting to have authority over a man, and in her deeds or actions to try to usurp that authority, you have problems. That's where domestic violence issues come from. You know, and I'm not just blaming it on the sisters. As men, we have a duty, you know, not just to ourselves and our family, but to this nation, man. We're a royal priesthood, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. That's our job. Like I said, shout out to Commander Jenny Hunter. He measured up some mighty brothers, all right? So that brother lost his mother. And I want to bring out another very important fact because everybody wants to cry and do all these things. We go to Psalms 37 and 25, and that's no problem. You can have your time of mourning. It's always a sad thing when you have to have your life taken and removed from this place because of your actions. But you have to understand that the Lord controls life and death. He rends and he puts back together. He wounds and he heals. He kills and he makes alive. All right, so we're going to get a little bit more context with Psalms 37 and 25. Psalms. All right, 37 and 25. Write these precepts down, man. Write them down so you can have some understanding. So you don't go past that time of mourning, and now every year you're doing a balloon release and you're worshiping the dead. That's something that we do not do. All right. Psalms 37 and 25. All right. So here is a brother talking. He's telling you his experience. He says, I have been young and now I am old. You know, there are things that we say when we graduate, man, I can't wait to get up out of school. I can't wait to get up out of this house. Every time she come home, she tripping. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to do this and telling me to do that. Man, I can't wait to get up out of here. That's what you do when you're young. When you get older, you have a different perspective, especially these brothers and sisters in the world. Like, man, I see the post. Oh, I wish I was a kid again. You know, I wish I didn't have to worry about these bills. You know what I'm saying? So here's an observation that's being made, right? And it says, yet have I seen the righteous forsaken. Let that marinate, all right? When you sitting here crying like some plum fool over a little washcloth who was a terror in your community. He done shot up damn near every public building, corner store, your mama's house. He done broke in the majority of his houses, you know what I'm saying? But because that's what you know, you're sitting here crying like some plum fool, talking about take me with you. And you know damn well you were scared of him. The Bible says, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken. What does that mean to be forsaken, man? To be forsaken. And it says the righteous. What does it mean to be forsaken? It means, the definition of forsook or forsake, all right? It means to renounce or turn away from entirely. So the Lord doesn't turn away from the righteous. Understand that. You can make sense of a situation. Those things that you do in the dark, they're surely going to come to light. But I just read that, yet have I not seen. This is something that he has not seen. The righteous forsaken, man. Like, you have to put that in the forefront of your mind and really look at yourself in the mirror and realize, listen, man, if I'm going through all this peril and all this trial and tribulation, it's because I deserve it. There's something that I'm doing that's causing these issues. I can't blame the world. I can't blame my mom. I can't blame my dad, whichever present or absent parent. It's not their fault because now I'm an adult. You're an adult. We're responsible for our actions. Hell, you take credit for when you do something good, like get your license, or you get that man that you knock you upside your head, or that woman that thought was so, but she tearing up all your clothes. Don't blame someone else for things that you could have grown and overcame, because the Lord said, I have not seen the righteous be forsaken. If I should tell you something about yourself, all right, we're going to skip down to Psalms 37 and 27. And it reads, depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore, man. Talking about you can't keep all the commandments. Well, you should do that thing that's going to bring you into life, right? Keep you healthy. When it says depart from evil. So what if he's funny? He's an instigator. He's bloodthirsty. All she wants to do is cause drama. Depart from that evil thing, man. You know, it's going to ruin your good morals. Before you know it, you're going to be forgetting the oracles of God. You're going to be doing what thus saith this zodiac sign. What thus saith, you know what I'm saying, the dirty D, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be doing what thus saith you hear your rapper or your favorite artist say. And you're going to be destroyed because of it. All right. So drop that. Here in Columbus, and just like other places, we have an extreme issue with gun violence. All right. Why is that? Everybody's seeking justice, but vengeance is mine, so saith the Lord. And that's what we have to understand. You have to suffer your soul that affliction, man. You have to do that hard thing. That thing that is not perfect, you have to make perfect. That's your responsibility, black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian. When I'm talking to my brothers, it's synonymous to my sisters as well. You know, because every sister thinks that, oh, okay, my feelings, which are fleeting, should be public knowledge. It matters more than life itself, and it doesn't. You know, they come and go like the wind. What's the point of you thinking that everybody should know how you feel? Everybody should move to the tune and the beat of your drum when you feel this way right now at 7:58. And at 8:05, you're going to feel something totally different. You know, we have to gird up the loins of our minds, man, and get control of these demons. Those voices you hear in your head. It's not your ancestors. And it's not the voice of the Lord. The voice of the Lord is only heard by one man who the Lord is dealing with. That's Commander General Yohana. All right, understand that. All right, the proof is in what y'all would call the pudding. And if you think it's not, you must be out what they call your John Brown mind to think that the Lord's dealing with you. And you ain't did nothing for nobody, not even yourself. Because if you did, you'd be tuned into these classes, writing your notes, and asking your questions. That imperfect thing in your life, you would be striving unto death to make perfect, so that the Lord will fight for you. All right. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull that precept, man. I can't just keep talking. I'm not a Christian pastor. We're going to prove this thing in the Bible here today. All right. Prove this thing here in the Bible. All right. So we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus 4:28. It's in your Apocrypha, man. Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verses 28. All right. It says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. All right. You're still trying to save your life. That life you have in the world, man. That life where you smoke that weed, you make excuses for always being late, you know, serving the oppressor more than you serve the Most High. That is in, you know what I'm saying, the fourth dimension. You know, you think that it's okay to do that, to be a wicked, selfish bastard. Bible says striving to death, man. You got to do your 90 days before you can F with you can fuck with anybody in the ISUPK, Salakia. You know what I'm saying? You got to do your 90 days, man. You have to shed yourself for the world. That's you striving unto death. Get rid of that old man, that old woman. And then the Lord will fight for thee, man. He'll fight for you. You think he's answering your prayers? He's not. It's falling on deaf ears. Why? You'll take 1,700 classes just to be able to take this one master class. That's what you call prerequisites. That's that thing you do before you get the chance, you know what I'm saying? And you have to go through learning something before you can actually take this course. All right. You want to do all those things, you know, fill out an application, you know, watch a class, give them your first and last months, and then at a prorated rate, you know, just to get a place to live. But you're not willing to suffer your soul to affliction to serve your power. We got to make it make sense. This is why we're destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. All right. Let's get that. Destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. All right. Like I said, this is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. You wonder why we're rude in speech, but not rude in knowledge. It's because we care for our people. And how do we do that? We do that with action, not just in tongue. We do that in deed, man. We put our hands to the plow, you know. Put our hands to the plow. Don't get the notion to want to grab the microphone, pause, when we're out in the street corners, preaching and prophesying to the wind on that platform of wood. You know, if you want to do it, then it's too late. If you're really serious about it, you'll tune into these classes. You'll grab a fly. You'll ask your questions. You understand? This is Hosea 4 and 6, man. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. All right. What is that destruction? That destruction is what you would call judgment. Righteous judgment at that. Huh? Somebody say something? I didn't think so. That's what being destroyed is, man. That's that judgment the Lord allows you to go through because you're doing something wrong. All right. To be destroyed means to be ruined. All right. To ruin the structure, organic, existent, or condition. Our people are ruined. You go out, you see us on the corners, stretched out. Some YouTuber, I forget his name. Some YouTuber, man, some black kid, you know, a brother, you know what I'm saying, with some dreads or whatever. He did a social experiment with one of his other YouTube buddies. And they had glasses on and they were walking down the streets of some busy city. It looked like New York. It could have been LA or someplace or whatever, right? And they were pretending to be blind. And with a stick in one hand, right, and walking forward briskly, the white man grabbed just a complete stranger's arm. And every person's arm that he grabbed, they accepted him, held on to him, and walked with him until he let go. But when it came to the brother, since everybody believes that color doesn't matter, he grabbed their arm and they let go. You know, they jerked off, like, you know what I'm saying? So like they just like jerked their arm off of him, you know what I'm saying? And then sat there to act like they were so disgusted and filthy, you know. If we live in a land of equality, what they so-called say, which doesn't exist, why is it the same measure of compassion used with the white man as the black man? Because there's no such thing as equality, man. They're not going to use the same measure of judgment as they use with the white man with the black man. And why is that? Because this is his kingdom. All right. You saw, if you've seen this social experiment, that white man in his homeostasis, which is called heaven here on this earth, right? And then you've seen the black man, right, in his homeostasis, which is called hell. Both conditions. God forbid he was really blind, you know, he just would have been at a loss. But anyways, the definition of destroy, all right, to ruin the structure, the organic existence or condition. To ruin as if by tearing or shredding, man. To put out of existence, to kill, to neutralize, to annihilate, right? That's what you see when the police kick in doors. Donovan Lewis, who's a brother here, right? He got killed. You know, you bypass the Old Testament, right? These laws, which are still valid today, and you think that you're allowed to smoke, right? Breonna Taylor, her door got kicked in too. She just did a shift and killed in their homes. You know what I mean? That's what you call a perpetual hatred. That's what you're supposed to have for your black behind, your Hispanic behind, your Native American behind. A perpetual hatred. That's how we were just, man, we're neutralized, vanquished. Like, that's what you call destruction. Understand what destruction is. I just gave you the definition. Google it for yourself. Put it in your search engine and find out what it means to be destroyed. And then when you go into that coffee shop or that Starbucks, don't wonder why the oppressor looks at you like that. Because as a whole, collectively, we are destroyed. And that should tell you something about what you should think about them as a whole and collectively. Why would you love someone that hates you? That's unjust and that's unfair. It's sad, but it's true. It's hard to understand. But listen, If someone hates you as a whole and collectively, what business do you have loving them as a whole and collectively? You want to sit here and pick out the ones that are good, and they're not doing that for you. When you getting pulled over, you dodging bullets. You have to fear for your life every time you see those red, white, and blue lights. That's exactly what they want to intimidate you. They want you to know that you ain't spit in their kingdom. That's absolutely fine. Because we're going to get our justice. Absolutely. As long as you keep the oracles of God, man. Make no mistake. This is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Everybody want to talk about lacking. You know, you don't want to get caught lacking without your gun. Well, you get caught lacking without your identity, the Lord is going to destroy you utterly. Whether it be at the drop of a hat, in front of a Makita's cookies, in your bed, in a jail cell like Sandra Bland, on the street like Mike Brown, you know what I'm saying? At the bottom of a police car like George Floyd, like you take your pick. In a grocery store when you're 90, or when you're jogging like Ahmaud Arbery in your early 20s. Like you take your pick. Make no mistake. A good father is going to punish his kids. He's going to chastise the ones that he loves. This is why we have no problem in the IHBK telling you when you're wrong. That's what love is, correction. How do you know that? Because we had to first correct ourselves and shut ourselves from the world. We had to utilize this knowledge practically in order to be able to teach it. All right. Let's keep going. Because thou hast rejected knowledge. Oh, nobody likes rejection. All right. Yeah, I don't talk to girls. Why not? That's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to be rejected. You got to get liquored up first. Then you go and then holler at a sister. She been waiting on you all night, but because of your rejection, you won't say anything to her. You know what I'm saying? You'll be 9-2 an IUIC nigga. You know? No one likes rejection. You're not going to do that thing that you need to do because you don't want to be rejected. All right. But you will reject these oracles of God that are put into place to separate you from all these heathen nations that eat dookie, that sleep with their own brothers and sisters. You understand? I mean, literal incest. You know what I'm saying? That believe in child molestation. You know, you want to be a pedophile. And you was in the closet for the longest time until you understood, oh, okay, well, we don't use that lingo no more because of my civil rights. Thank you, Barack Obama. Freaking Hamite, you African who didn't do anything for the so-called Blacks, Hispanic, Native American Indians. Now, this pedophile calls himself a map. And to the untrained ear, sounds like something like, he might be a geographer, someone who, likes to travel, explore. A map is a minor attracted person. All right. They like kids. Your kids. So that'll piss you off. That'll make you want to put that blunt down and get up out the Christian church and stop loving your oppressor. Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. All right. But I'm going to tell you what Hosea 4:6 says. Because thou hast rejected that knowledge, thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Imagine that. So every time you're praying, after you done, took off all your clothes and you're not even wearing to nothing, and your shame is just out. You're not shameless at all. You're in a circle with your girlfriend praying before you go out here and strip and twerk on a nigga and do all this extra dumb stuff for money that's not worth its weight in gold. Literally, no pun intended. It's not worth its weight in gold, but the Lord's going to reject thee. It says, I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me. All right. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, meaning your power. You can't go out here and tell anybody anything. The Lord's not going to back you up when you try to correct someone. You forgot the laws of God. They don't make a damn difference to you. You say you don't have to keep them. The law's done away with. But what we call drugs at 74th Street Baptist Church is a sin. Whenever something's done to you, you're quick to tell somebody they're a sinner. But when it's you, it's, well, God hates the sin, but not the sinner. Man, the Lord don't deal with none of y'all. Understand that. This is why we're destroyed. It says, I will also forget thy children. So you can't say, I love my kids. I'll do anything for my kids. You do anything but get yourself together? Black man, Hispanic man, Native American woman, and man. You would do anything but get yourself together. You love your kids so much, you want to be a social experiment. Catastrophe waiting to happen. You wonder why your kids end up in the system. Now, they're at the mercy of the oppressor. What happens? They get raped. They get molested. They get beaten. They get neglected. They get starved. But you love them so much. No, you don't. You love yourself. You're a selfish and wicked bastard. The Lord's going to destroy you. He's going to destroy you. He's going to absolutely and utterly destroy you. So when you're waking up and you're addicted to something and you can't wonder why, you can't shake the habit, it's because you're an evil bastard, man. The Lord's going to destroy you. Matter of fact, everybody thinks he's all love. He just loves everybody. That's how you say it. Sounded all freaking gay. I'm going to tell you right now. The Lord is a man of war. All right, understand that. He is a man of war. And so you should be a man or a woman of war. But I don't mean carnally. I mean, if it comes down to that, don't let somebody just knock you all upside your head and you don't defend yourself. I'm not saying that. All weapons of warfare are spiritual, not carnal. All right. And according to Exodus 15:3, the Lord, is a man of war. Right? What does it mean to be a man of war? Of means from. He's from war. He's accustomed to it. This is what you have to do with those voices in your head. You got to go to war with them. Go to war with them. Those voices in your head, that tell you to pick up that cigarette. Oh, I just got to get me a port, man. Who got a port? I got 50 cents. You'll go to these Arab nations, and they'll do something that's so evil and wicked. They'll sell you the poison, but then not utilize it themselves. They want you dead, man. They want your kids dead. All you are is an opportunity to make some money. Every nation that we're poured into, all the goodness of us is just taken away because we don't keep the oracles of God, which keeps us separated. The Lord is his name. You understand? The Most High Power, man. When it comes to the Most High Power, his name is Yahweh. Our King's name is Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You get into class, you understand what that means and how to speak your language because you have an identity. You don't need to keep searching for one. Every time you go to the Chinese food where you're looking for a fortune cookie, you're just looking for answers. The Bible is the most publicized book. Like, it's been published more than any other book in the world. Like, let that sink in your head. And you go into Sing Sing's chicken and waffles just because you want to break up with a fortune cookie? Like, over 5 billion copies, 40 million copies sold in the last 60 years. And we don't know that it's Black history. Why? Because of Christianity. Because of your Christian pastor. There's more churches than homeless shelters. Why is it that a homeless shelter is open longer than a church? If it's for the people, you have a 501c3. All the money that you get is tax-free. You were giving money to open up this building. You got the real estate. You ain't paid for damn near none of it. But how are you helping the people? The most impoverished areas have more than one church in them. Why? How is that? How is that even possible, man? Well, it's because we're destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. And because we rejected that knowledge, the Lord rejects us. Hell, you reject your identity. You're not a black man. You're a catfish. You're a cat burglar. You're a robber. You're a murderer. You're whatever they say you are. Because we're known by the curses, man. That's what our identity is. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what white girl you get, or Asian woman, if you're Jeezy, you're still a nigga. Her family can't stand you. She was probably the worst one. They'd let you have her. She was that old squid that no one wanted. And because you have money, they still don't accept you. They don't give a damn about your black behind. They got a whole continent, a whole place, a whole country And you don't have what? Anything. You don't even have your brothers and sisters because you betrayed them. You rejected them for some cat food, man. We got to do better as a people. All right. Understand that if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, you will be punished for the things that you do. All right. That's one thing my mama said, man. Don't let me get no phone call while I'm at work or from school. Everybody like house party. That nigga kid ran all the way home, unplugged the phone. Why? Because a good parent is going to punish their children. You think the Lord gives a damn about your life? He'll bring you back until you get it right. How many times your mom say, hey, listen, man, erase it. Start all over again. And you erase it so much, you get mad because you ain't thought over a new clean sheet of paper. Well, if the Lord has to give you a new clean start, he will. He will. You think you'll be in the kingdom of heaven rolling up blunts, twerking? Every chance you get, you want to pull your black behind out and be showing it off. All right. That's what you call destruction, man. No type of privacy. But you want to have a nerve to have a lock on your phone. How about you put a lock on your ass? Put a lock on your nakedness, man. Put a lock on your vagina. Stop giving it away. You know, go through the courting process. Get to know someone. I mean, hell, you know exactly what you're doing. Don't get mad at a brother because he come up to you and say, man, I'm trying to beat, trying to smash, trying to get some cutty. That's what you campaigning? Who goes up to an ice cream shop and asks for a hamburger? Nobody, unless you're going to Dairy Queen. Make it make some sense. Then you're going to talk about, oh, we're the most unprotected. You wonder why niggas be acting like plumb horny ass bastards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, yeah, brothers, you know, we got to do better too. You know, the Bible says certain things about how a woman's always going to be after the heels of a man. Understand that. You raise your standard. Get in the ISUPK, man. Find out what it means to be a priest and prophet. You know, love your sisters. You know, do this work, man. Correct them properly. You know, oh, you lie to a woman. She, oh, well, you know, cheat on you. Tell her the truth. She might accept it. She might have to accept it regardless. Regardless. Someone destroyed needs to hear lies. You don't need to be with a person like that, male or female. We're children of the light, not the darkness, man. That demon trying to get you killed. Make no mistake, all right? So when it comes to these judgments, understand they're given to us, right? Because of the laws of the oracles of God. You know, you abide by them or you don't. We're going to get one more precept. We're going to go to a brotherhood scripture in Matthew. It's a bedrock scripture, Matthew 5:17. All right. It might seem tedious, monotonous, but shit, we still ain't learned it. You know, someone said, well, I know this. I know for a fact. I know you ain't supposed to do this. I know. If you know you have so much knowledge, why are you still dying from that knowledge you claim? You know, because you don't practice it. Knowing isn't practicing or doing. I know. And now I know. Why are you taking that hit? I know. Well, if you know so much, why are you doing it? Why? Now you got everybody around your bedside, you coughing up mucus, you know what I'm saying, about to die because you have cancer. It's like a carcinoma. Like you're just about to just kick the bucket, but you knew so much. You didn't know anything. You were destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. That knowledge comes responsibility. You have to take action. That responsibility in the ISUPK is called brotherhood and sisterhood. You know, you want to fight this man, the next man, you want to spin the block. How about you go to war with those demons in your head? Save your help. You know, that's what they teach us in Christianity, how to destroy one another, man. You don't think color matters? You look at any social experiment, you're going to absolutely see that color absolutely matters. And I got the best social experiment. Ask your best white friend what color Christ is. Ask your best Chinese man either. I don't know, nigga. Who care? That's African. Who we be paying? You want to buy, you hurry up and buy. That's what he gonna tell you. He don't give a damn. He got his own guy. He got Buddha. Africans got Uwe Dewey Dimbala, whoever the heck they serve. You know, who do you have? You have Caesar Borgia. You have Caesar Borgia. That's who you claim your dad to be. But you in the rush to take a nigga to Maury. You know what I'm saying? I can't possibly be this black baby father, but a white man could be your daddy. Man, get up out of here with that mess, man. It's Matthew 5:17. All right. Think not that I have come to destroy the law. All right. Think not. Don't even put it in your head. The Lord is not coming. He came to destroy no laws. All right. This is in the New Testament. You know, you can find the book of the laws in the Old Testament. So the New Testament. Well, if he says, think not that I've come, think not, meaning don't get in your head that I am come to destroy the law, then you don't know what the heck you're talking about anyway. Or the prophets, the givers of the law. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill, man. You know what I mean? To fulfill. And the Lord's coming to make sure that you're keeping this damn law. And if you're not, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to suffer those punishments, man. So get it out your head. If you can't get out your church, you get your black behind out that. You can't get out your head. Get out the church. You understand? Stop listening to whoever's telling you that, oh, the law's done away with. You don't have to do this. If that was the case, why are you still being punished for sins? The breaking of the law, the transgression of the law. If that's the case, you wouldn't get high blood pressure from eating that pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Every black man you know that died from high blood pressure, hypertension, is because he couldn't give up that bacon. He needed it every morning before he went and served the white man. Verse 18 says, for verily, certainly I say unto you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, till heaven and earth pass away. Look up in the sky. You can see the clouds, see the birds flying through, tweedledee-dee-doo. And, you know, you're standing on solid ground. It has not gone anywhere. Not one jot or tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Not the crossing of a T or the dotting of an I. One iota, man. So that means you have to keep all the law, statute, commandments. Well, we ain't got to do this. We ain't got to do that. No, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And get the understanding. Anybody telling you to go and sacrifice no lamb, understand that. Because Christ was that. He was that perfect sacrifice. You understand? So now you have to do something, that hard thing. You have to go to war with your defects, your blemishes. You have to make those things that are wrong right. Not in your eyesight, but in the sight of the Lord, man. All right? Because if you don't, verse 19, whosoever, talk about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right? Don't see what the Ken and Barbie is doing. The Lord don't give a damn about them. They're like spittle. He don't care what So Young Fat's doing. He's eating all that crap, and you think you're going to eat it too? No, you're going to be destroyed because of that. It says, whosoever, therefore, because of that, shall break one of these least commandments, the least commandment, right? It doesn't matter if it's something like, oh, well, it says thou shalt not steal, but, you know, ain't nobody looking. It's just something, so it's just a little bead. It's a little Pandora bead, right? And shall teach men to do so. Oh, man, go ahead and get you some of this lean. Boy, young boy, put some hair on your chest. Or what do women like? What do you mothers like to say? Oh, well, you know, y'all spending too much time together. You know, go out and see what's out there. Date different men. Find out which, in other words, find out which rod you want the most. And you turn your daughters into whores, might I add. So stop doing that. He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever, you don't want to be called the least of the kingdom of heaven, man. You out here, the kingdom of heaven is this wicked kingdom right here for the oppressors, right? The least is that one-legged white dude or white woman on the hottest day of the damn summer out there sweating, looking stupid with a sign saying need help for food, but all they want to really do is get high. You know, they're the least in their kingdom. You don't want to be called the least in your kingdom. All right. But whosoever shall teach, but whosoever shall do, what does it mean to do? Meaning keep these oracles of God. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are. Don't be a giraffe and then turn into a turtle because the lions come around. Nah, if you're a so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian, man, woman, boy, or child, be that, man. Be proud of who you are. Come from royal blood, man, royal blood. All right. Do the oracles of Christ. All right. Whosoever shall do and teach them. The men in the ISCPK under Commander Junior Hunter. All right. What you teach your household, what you teach your rib. She teaches your kids, the next generation, how to be priests and prophets, princesses, daughters of Zion, right? The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Everybody want to talk about investments. You want to put your last dollar in something that's going to turn belly up in about a month or two. You know what I'm saying? You see all those stockbrokers jumping off those high buildings and committing suicide because they didn't put everything into nothing. All right. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you have the opportunity to put everything into something, man. All right. You are something if you keep the oracles of God. Understand that. Nobody wants to be sold a lemon when it comes to a car. That ain't nothing. It's not even a car. If you get on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, a car that has no engine is called the roller. It's a roller. That's all you can do is roll it. Keep the oracles of God. You know, come into this understanding about who you are and what's expected of you. Learn your identity. That's the absolute truth according to the Bible. All right. And then get you a King James Version Bible. Might I add. But with that, I'm going to end the class. So, Amaja, which means to stand. All right. We'll point your Hakwadon. We turn face to east. We'll go. And when it comes to these prayers, they're very important. But before we go, I'm going to read the security announcement. So pay close attention. You know, you have opportunities to get jobs, places, and then you're willing to obey the dress code. You know, you're willing to, right? It's very specific in the ISUP and decency. All right. All right. So if you there's a chat, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, and